Welcome back. I'm Cora Towers Films.
Doug 218, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks. How are you?
It's Sunday, and you know why we're here.
We are here to recap Masterchef Canada Back to Win episode 12, and it is the finale.
And, well, as you remember, normally it's a two-way battle.
Yes.
But this year, no.
It was three-way.
It's a three-way battle.
If you remember, last week they said it was the first time in history
that
they have done this on Masterchef Canada. I have a feeling I remember them doing this on Masterchef in the States, but it's the first time it's been done in Canada.
I think so.
I think they did. I don't remember when, but I think they did.
Okay. They come in, they give them their, tell them, okay, your journey to get to this point has been amazing. But due to COVID travel restrictions, your families can't be here.
Well, because basically, like they were saying, and if you've been watching other MasterChef Canadas, that usually the families are there, friends, that kind of thing, but they can't do that because of travel restrictions. So instead,
they got video.
They got video messages from the families,
and it was so sweet. So a lot of them, like, especially Andy's daughter's kind of monkeying around in the background.
The daughter hiding behind the mom.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was funny.
And I think his daughter, one of his the younger daughter, is just started to walk, and she got a couple of teeth.
Yeah, and he's it really touched him because those are big moments,
Yeah, that he's missing.
That he missed.
Yeah.
She's got a couple of teeth. She's walking.
Yeah.
So
they're big milestones.
It was nice to see Christopher's parents, the dad, son, I'm so proud of you,
Yeah.
And it brought him to tears, like even his girlfriend,
Yeah.
Little did I know when I met you in pharmacy school.
Yeah, he's actually graduated pharmacist.
Yep.
And he was saying that he had worked, in order to save up to open his bakery, he worked 16 hours
in the pharmacy,
and then came home and would bake till about 3 a.m.
And she would help him to fulfill orders.
And now he's got the bakery, but I mean, that's talk for dedication.
So Alvin chimes in and says, okay, listen up, guys. It's a 3-hour cook.
And we also, with Taya, we saw her husband. We saw her husband and her mom. Does she ever look like her mom?
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Her mom looks so young, too. And then Taya was saying that she hasn't been able to see her husband that much because he's American.
Yeah.
And they got married in October. And because the borders are closed now,
he's down in the States.
He's back home in the States. And even when she lives here, she can't go see him.
Yeah.
So she's going home, and he's in the States. Now, I'm not sure why he's in the States when they're married, or if they live here full time or there, or what. That
never really was explained really well.
That. So we don't really know why that is. But it was nice to see the family visits that basically.
So Alvin steps up and says, okay, guys, listen up. It's a 3-hour cook.
The clock will not stop.
It won't stop. So as soon as the first hour is done, we'll take your app. We're going to taste it privately.
Yeah.
And your entree, we're going to taste privately.
Right.
The desserts,
we'll taste
in front of you. Right. And so
it's like nonstop cooking for the whole
3 hours.
Unlike other seasons, they get to stop and they present each dish
to the
judges. But this year, it's just a straight through cook.
And so Alvin, in his traditional fashion, your 3 hours start now. And they hit the ground running.
Yeah, but they kind of have to.
I thought they could have done something different with the set because it was such a confined little horseshoe kind of cooking area.
That area is the same. Like it's like this horseshoe thing, but just 2 of them, one on either side of it. But now because there's 3 of them, they're kind of
almost
more condensed in where they're able to cook. So like they're all spread out. So it looks like a big mess right around the horseshoe, just because they have so much, because they went and got it for everything that they need for the entire cook.
And while the chefs are going to get their ingredients for their first for their menu. Like we get random video packages of the previous contestants saying who they thought.
Right. Who they thought would win.
Yeah.
So we saw a couple of them anyway.
Yeah. So we saw Andrew mentioned Christopher.
Yeah, he thinks Christopher would win.
May Satea.
Yeah.
And who said Andy?
Oh, I forget her name. Oh, she's been gone a while. I think that's why I don't remember her name.
But she had a lot of tattoos.
She had lots of, and she one who wears the hats all the time.
Oh, so no, not her. We're thinking two different people. She was a black lady who wore the funky hats. And she said it, and she called Andy.
Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of neat.
I cannot remember her name.
No, sorry guys.
I might know to hear it, but.
So we get into it, and at the 30-minute mark, you start to see some time management.
Mostly Christopher again.
His app has an ice cream base.
Right.
And he's like,
it's like an ice cream. He's ice creamifying it, I guess, for lack of a better term.
It looks like goop.
Yeah. It's really thick. It looks almost like batter. Like cake batter.
Yeah.
It's that thick. It's like cake batter. And so he's like, no, I can't do that. Because he did try to put it in the ice cream, because he wanted to put it in the ice cream maker, but it was just too thick. So he just started over. Well, actually, he didn't start over again. What he did is he put it back in the blender and he added some stock to it. And he thinks he put too much cornstarch in it. So he put like stock in it and I think something else. And it loosened it back up again. Then he put it back into the ice cream maker. And then he was worried it's not going to set. It's not going to have enough time to freeze. So he brought in the liquid nitrogen and was pouring it into the ice cream maker. And they were saying that you really have to watch for that because if you put too much in, it'll just become like these hard rocks. And it can actually damage the ice cream maker too. So
watching him just ever so slightly, watching that cloud of wafting up, and everyone's just from the gallery, and
I actually tried it, but we'll tell you what he made the full dish later.
So we get down to the last, they're counting it down, and you can see everyone's rushing, everyone's really trying to get things done. First hour's done. So the first app to get tasted is actually Christopher's. It's a spot prawn ceviche, and it had like the ice cream base.
It's like a sauce. Like they said the name of what it actually is, and it would actually melt and form like a sauce.
So, Michael and Claudio gave their critique of it. They thought it was really innovative. The taste was brilliant. It was a nice vessel for the prawn, because prawn wasn't cooked.
I think he blanched it.
But they both said the sauce really, when it melted, it really worked well. So they're like, he's off to a good start. Next one was actually Tea's, and it was a torched red snapper crudo. And that was neat to actually watch her make.
Also raw. But what she did was she crisped up skin using a blowtorch.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was very good.
That was actually very wild.
Yeah.
Michael tried it first, and he said, it was good, but it needed salt. It was kind of bland.
Yeah, the flavors were needed.
And it needed something to kind of kick it up to the next level.
Alvin seemed to like it.
Alvin thought, everything that she had on the plate served
Because she had like bones and stuff
sauces,
like that on it.
Because she worked in a lot of Mexican flavors.
Right.
And he said everything that was here worked to help elevate the red snapper.
Right.
So, you kind of got a 50-50 critique. I liked it, but it needed a little more.
Right.
And I
just really liked it. Yeah.
Okay, so then Andy did a seafood platter.
Yeah. He was kind of, how he was thinking of it is his theme was kind of like being at the cottage with Andy. It's a very East Coast theme and very kind of, well, rustic sort of idea, but elevated in a way.
Well, and
so his was like seafood platter.
Claudia said it was, it kind of made me think he was kind of like, oh, he's not really too impressed. It's clean, it's neat, it's tidy.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he's saying Andy played it safe with this.
Although he did elevate it because he was saying that usually on the East Coast when you're doing a seafood platter, a lot of it's fried.
Yeah.
And so he didn't really do it that way. He did it like he did scallops and things like that too.
Yeah.
And plated it really well. So he didn't really fry it, not like it would be traditionally.
And it was, I believe it was just Claudia that critiqued his.
I guess what we saw.
So
usually see two of them.
So we got the first critique, so it's kind of like you're okay, 50-50. They kind of like did, no real winners to you kind of couldn't get a read who was the real.
Although if you think of it, out of the appetizers, what they said, it sounded like Christopher kind of had a bit of an edge just because they liked the creativity of what he did.
Yeah.
And I think with Taya and Andy were almost kind of even because they liked their dish, but they thought they could have elevated it more or done a little bit more with it. So
while their apps are getting critiqued, they're still working on their entrees.
Now they're moving on to their entrees.
So, and now Andy's the first one to taste it.
Yeah.
Andy does a lobster roll, but while he was getting this ready, he did something what's called a choux pastry.
Right.
And when the first time he made it, it looked like soup.
Yeah, it was very runny.
And
it's funny when he was putting it to the piping bag, he goes, it shouldn't look like that.
It should, he's kind of like, no,
that's not right.
That's
so
not right.
He started over from scratch.
And you just saw everyone up in the balcony like, oh, that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And even Claudio said he did the right thing.
Yeah, starting over.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have the right texture. If it was just too runny.
And it wouldn't have given him he was hoping to get it to rise a little.
Yeah.
So
a little bit.
He burned through it and got it back.
Yeah.
So he did like his take on a reconstructed lobster roll.
Right. Yeah.
With a Sauvignon sauce. Now, a Sauvignon sauce is an egg-based sauce that you have to keep. Once you start whisking this, you have to keep whisking it.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, now here comes the workout. And Andy's like, okay, I can do this. Okay. And he's whisking to the last second.
Yeah.
Before he has to plate it. So.
Or else it'll kind of
it will split.
It'll split. Yeah.
So Claudio is the first to give his comment on it. He goes, well, it's not really an entree. It looks more like an appetizer.
Like an appetizer.
It was about, say,
it wasn't that long.
About as big as my pinky or a little bigger. So, and
then the Sauvignon right beside it. So, I mean, I think they like the flavor. It came across more of an appetizer really than an entree.
Michael liked the flavor. He liked the fact of the Sauvignon sauce. He also said maybe the choux pastry needed to little cheese, salt, something because the pastry was kind of bland.
Yeah. And they also kind of thought that the choux pastry almost made it seem more like an appetizer too.
So
it's like you could pick up.
Yeah. It was bite size.
Yeah, it was bite size. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Next up is Taya. She does a venison tenderloin. Now, while they were cooking, they were actually given a sous vide drawer where they could vacuum seal their food.
She did it twice. She did it in her appetizer too. She used it.
She was the only one to actively use this component. And Claudia, when they got to hers, Claudia loved her plating.
Yeah.
But
like the sauces too.
And the sauces. Michael said, you know what? It's great. The plating's really good, but it's undercooked.
Yeah.
And Alvin chimed in and said, you know, the sauces complement the meat, but it doesn't save it when it's undercooked.
Right.
So.
Well, Alvin basically said that venison can be served raw.
Yes.
But that's not what she was going for. She
No.
wasn't going for raw. So she was going for, I think, it's medium well
Yeah.
or medium rare kind of thing. So and that's not what it was slightly underdone. So, and like the sauces, they like the flavors are bold.
Yeah.
But they said it wasn't enough to compensate for the
undercooked
on the venison. So.
Now Christopher, he did a seared duck breast. He had a smoked egg.
Right.
And a nest.
In a nest.
And you know, just watching him work, and it's like, oh my god, you know, is he gonna finish this? And
everything he does is very complicated.
Oh my god,
very time consuming. So you're always thinking, oh, he's not gonna make it.
No.
It's just doing too much. But he ends up doing it. It's amazing, really.
So, Claudio was the first to try it. He says the duck was well done, and they both were looking at the egg. It had to be that creamy. He smoked it, and he cooked it in this nest in the deep fryer, and he had to do it just at the right level, not to mess up the cook of the egg,
right?
But to deep fry the nest,
right? And
so Alvin said, okay, when I cut into this egg, the center has to be creamy, a nice creamy yellow. So when they cut through, you saw, you know, Michael kind of like lean over to get a look. It was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they had nothing but really glowing praise for it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think at like the entree point?
Well, at this point, I don't know. I think I was giving the edge to Christopher more because, like they said, they liked Taya's entree, but they thought it was slightly undercooked. We haven't gotten Andy's yet, or have we?
Andy's was the first. He was the lobster roll.
They thought, and we agreed. It looked pretty, but it did kind of look more like an appetizer. It did.
Yeah.
Not compared to the other two, it looked like an appetizer. And then, but even like just their plating, Christopher just looked really unique, and you could tell that he put a lot of effort into it. I mean, not to say that the others didn't, but I mean, it's just, you know. So we were still thinking. Okay. Christopher probably still has the edge here.
So we get to the dessert round, and excuse me. I just had a drink and it went down the wrong way.
Wasn't a first call.
Yeah. So it was Taya got tasted first. It was a mango panna cotta assago. I hope that's pronounced right.
Panna assago, I think it's called. It's Mexican, I believe.
And so, sorry, no. That was actually Christopher got tasted first. My apologies. Claudio loves the colors. And then, sorry, Michael said he loved the colors, the taste pop. It was it was refreshing and just had enough spice in it. Claudia goes, I have to tell you this. I don't like it. You know, like, that's Christopher's first negative comment. He goes, I love it.
You've done that before.
You know.
Especially Claudio.
And says, you know, okay, it was great, but maybe a little more mango.
And like mango pieces.
You know, to kind of make it kind of pop a little more. Um,
And they like that they use isomalt. He used isomalt as almost like a little nest with the like a mousse inside of it.
Yeah,
because it was a good idea because isomalt tends to break apart easier than sugar does.
And it was a better vessel for what he said.
And it holds moisture better.
And now I've never heard of this dessert like that Andy did. Blueberry grunt.
It's probably an East Coast thing.
Yeah.
And if you guys on the East Coast can let us know, we don't have that here. Not that I've heard of. We might. I haven't heard of it.
And like even
it looked pretty though. How he did it.
It did look very pretty. Bright colors and
it did like a gelato ring on top.
And I love Michael. The
flowers, blueberries, and stuff on top. It's really pretty.
The Englishman kind of going, I've never seen or heard of a blueberry grunt before.
Neither we.
Neither
we.
Now, Alvin commented first on it, saying that the lemon gelato really raised it. It was a really innovative idea to incorporate it. But he said, you know what? The cake was kind of heavy.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's supposed to be dense. I don't know. Never had it.
And well, even Michael said, that maybe taking some of the juice from the blueberries and using it to kind of lighten it up a little bit, So it sounded like they had good comments for him, but
they thought it's pretty and good tasting.
So now we get to Taya. Taya's the last dessert. And she does a hibiscus margarita panna cotta.
Right. Continuing her Mexican theme.
And it's very geometric. Like that's one of the things Alvin said. It's rectangles, squares, and circles.
Yeah. Or spheres.
Yeah.
She had little melon balls that she macerated.
So.
And ice cream.
And what was funny, Claudia goes, I have to tell you this.
I think it was chili ice cream, actually.
Your dessert is a conversation stopper.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it was such a unique flavor with, like you said, with the chili ice cream, the coolness of the panna cotta. It really took
melons.
And it really took your mouth on a ride through a real flavor like a flavor pyramid. Michael said, okay, he said again that maybe like her sponge was great, but like in the previous dessert, it needed something to kind of make it not so dense, like a little more fluid from.
Well, they thought maybe some of the juice from the melons, the maceration of the melons, and that and that would actually up the flavor a little bit in the bowl.
Yeah.
And it would help with the sponge cake.
So they, now
other than that, it's very minor nitpicks.
Oh, from start to finish, really. Yeah. And to me, it looked like, okay, maybe Chris has got this one in the bag.
Well, after dessert, it was a lot closer, I think. And like I said, throughout the whole thing, there was it was more nitpicky than anything else. Like nobody was really incredibly far behind the others. I mean, but it just seemed that to us, just listening to their comments and stuff, that Chris seemed to have the edge a little bit. But what you just listen to them, and you kind of can tell who might have a bit of an edge. Sometimes we're wrong, but
like in previous episodes of the US one and Canada, you kind of
an idea. You can kind of get
an idea where they kind of lead you one way, and you're like, oh.
Well, I find that more on the American one than I do on the Canadian one. I think you can kind of catch it on the Canadian one a little bit more than you can on the American one. Who has an edge, but sometimes if you really listen to what they're saying, though, you think you kind of have an idea who might win it.
So before we go to commercial break, it's judgment time.
They go off to chat a bit. Who they think should win.
So we get like a little tidbit of like their conversation. When they come back, they're standing in front of the contestants again, and this is something new they did this year.
No, so they've done it before.
Giving them all three?
Yeah. No, not all. You mean I thought you meant when they switch them out.
No.
And they stand with the judges.
Now
they've done that.
Normally, the winner gets the big appliance package. It
gets all the prizes.
He or she gets all the prizes. But they said, no, you guys really shined. Shone. And they said, okay, so we're going to give all three of you the professional
melee.
Chef package.
Stainless steel fridge, a gas range stove, and a dishwasher. All three of them.
Valued.
First time they've done that, $18,000. $18,000.
So they say, okay, it's time for us to switch places with you.
Right.
And Michael looks at them, says it's the winner, and who will receive this trophy is.
The winner gets $100,000 and the trophy, and of course the title. And they used to actually get a cookbook.
Yes,
but they don't seem to have that anymore.
Not this year.
I don't remember them doing it last year either.
I can't recall.
I don't think so, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Even the American one, I don't think they get the cookbook deal that they remember. If you guys watched it from the beginning, they used to get a cookbook deal too.
Yes, that's true. And the winner is
Christopher.
And
no big surprise there.
No. And the confetti pops, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And it's kind of nice to see he left at the final four in his season for him to go all the way to the end. And he said, "You know what? I'm okay
being a finalist again."
Finalist.
You guys remember Taya and Andy were both finalists their seasons, and they're finalists again this year.
So it was a good season.
It was. It's probably one of the best ones they've had because they've had such top talent. Year.
For sure. This year it was kind of like the best of the best kind of thing.
We said this before. It's kind of like an all-star season. Yeah. It's like these are returning people. None of them are champions, but a couple of them got to the finales.
Yeah.
So they came close, and it shows you the difference to how they were their season to how they are now. Because, like I said before, most of them have had some kind of professional cook experience now. So you can see the difference now. A lot of them are a lot more confident than they were the first season too.
Well, and then to see Christopher's journey going from he was just a sweet, he just cooked sweet, and to come back and say, I wanted to show that I could do savory have
like he said, even on his first season, he said, because he did it's primarily what it's known for is desserts, but he said even then he could cook savory, and he just wanted to prove to people. Yeah. And now he's really up this game. So congratulations, Christopher.
Well done, young man. Well done.
Good job.
So what closing, what do you think?
I enjoyed it. It was a good season, and it was a good finale.
Yeah.
I mean, there really wasn't a lot. I mean, yes, there's nitpicky here and there, but there really wasn't a lot of a big difference between the three. So, I mean, it was very close competition, even really the whole time. So a lot of people who went home, it wasn't for really huge, glaring problems. It was nitpicky or this wasn't seasoned enough or the other one's perfect on this kind of thing. So it was very close right throughout. So I enjoyed it. I like seasons like that because it ups the competition factor.
Yes.
And you don't always know who's going to win. I mean, any of the three could have won tonight.
That's it. And all it would have taken is a little more salt or a little less, and it would have swung it.
Right. Exactly.
Anyway.
Maybe if Tad put the sauce or the juice into her dessert or cooked her venison a little bit more, she might have been the winner. I mean, it was that close. So, or same with Andy, anything he did, anything, but it was very close.
And to see, this is even what the judges said. It was.
I don't think they said that had been a close season.
No, they said this was the hardest season for them to judge because it was just wafer thin kind of critiques.
Right.
It was just, like I said, a smidge too much salt or not enough seasoning.
Right.
Just really finite stuff.
Right.
But it's those finite critiques
To make the difference.
which can make the difference. Like, okay, he or she got posed on not enough seasoning.
Right.
I am going to make sure.
Right. I'm going to do it this time.
I'm going to make sure,
yeah.
you know,
right.
or I got red. Like they said, Andy cooked in every darn challenge.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and here he was. You know, it was a great season. I hope it comes back next season.
I haven't heard yet if it's been renewed. I don't know. We'll let you know. Obviously, we'll be back for the next season if it is. And actually, so at this point, if you watch Masterchef USA, I haven't heard anything yet if it's coming back or when it's coming back. But we will be here for Masterchef USA too if you want to join us for that.
Can I come back?
Of course you can come back.
Right on.
Well, thank you very much for being here. It's been a fun season to recap with you.
Thank you for having me, and it was great to do the show with you and with you guys.
With you guys, and thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. That's again for Masterchef Canada this year, but we will be back the next time Masterchef Canada or Masterchef shows up. And we do have other reality shows we recap as well, so check out. I've got over 300 videos on the site, so check it out. I believe next up, if you are into Big Brother USA starts July, so that will be the next reality show that we will be showcasing unless something else comes up in between. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. It's been a fun season. Take care. Bye.
Bye, guys.